in every town and city across the UK, we now have mini barracks, effectively, these hotels full of fighting age males of, a particular nationality in the majority. And you just wonder what the plan is. Why are they all being sent across the UK, spread out?
This man, until recently, was most certainly an outsider to politics. You probably know Joseph Valente as the winner of Lord Alan Sugar's Apprentice and a business entrepreneur. However, he went public just a few weeks ago, announcing, "I joined the Reform Party. Don't hate on me because I believe our country deserves better leadership. Conservatives are finished. They will probably beg Nigel for a deal anyway when the time comes. Labour will destroy us and the people will be begging for an alternative." I never talked about politics until recently, but what sort of a man would I be if I stayed quiet when I know in a few years I'll be helping to save this country anyway? The UK wants reform, and entrepreneurs and business owners know they will be better off under Nigel's leadership. And I am delighted to welcome Joseph Valente to Outspoken now. And Joseph, I want to talk to you, of course, about your decision to join Reform UK. But can we start with this major news of the day that I was discussing there with the party's deputy leader, Richard Tice? Do you think Keir Starmer, do you agree with Nigel Farage that Keir Starmer has presided over one of the biggest cover-ups in British history when it comes to the Southport massacre and Axel Rudakabana?
Yeah, I think so. And it's just another sign that Keir's not the right man for the job. He's a weak leader. I think the nation are losing trust in him across the board. And it's sad to see, the victims' family having to listen and watch to what's going on and, wanting justice, and then having the leader of the country just not really being seen to doing what needs to be done.
And I mean, he lied, didn't he? It was a point blank lie. And today he tells us, oh, well, no, I do think he's a terrorist. When at the time, Angela Rayner was saying that was fake news. How did you feel, Joseph? Because at this point you hadn't announced your intentions regarding Reform UK. How did you feel after the Southport massacre when we were being gaslit by our leaders, and then their solution seemed to be to lock up ordinary Brits for a post that they'd made on X or Facebook?
I mean, it's just horrendous for the family and everybody involved. And I think the nation, including myself, just feels let down. There's that tagline for Starmer now of two-tier Keir, when on one hand, you've got serious criminals that are getting away with murder, and you've got people on the other side that are getting locked up for 7 years for inciting violence, for, writing a social media post. So how do you respect the leadership if that's how they're approaching, the things that are going on in the UK? You can't, can you? It's just frustration, anger, disappointment, and almost a sense of uselessness, because we can't seem to pick the right people to get the job done. And, as you read out in my tweet, I've stayed away from politics. It's not something that I've needed to get involved in. But as a 35-year-old man that has a 3-year-old son and regards himself in what I do as a strong leader, I just can't sit back and let these guys run this country into the ground and continue to make terrible leadership calls.
That's interesting, actually. I pick up on one word from you there, needed. And that is fascinating, isn't it? There has been times in British history where people can maybe sit back, but this is different. Our country is being destroyed in front of our very eyes. The leadership is completely corrupt, which is why they were part of such a revolting cover-up when it comes to Southport. And you mentioned your son. I imagine you're thinking, goodness me, my son could have been in that dance class. It could have been me, one of those parents whose lives are forever shattered because, and let's just be very clear about this, Joseph, because of a failure of state.
Yeah.
Prevent was told time and again. The police were called time and again. Social services were in time and again. Everyone knew, right, that something was really wrong with Axel Rudakabana, and nothing was done.
It just comes back to, what's been happening across the country recently with all the stuff that has happened in Rotherham, and clearly the political party is afraid to call people out, and they're afraid of the race card. That's what's held so many things back. And it's probably another case of that happening here. But with how the UK has gone and the immigration policy that's been allowed to be rolled out, both legal and illegal immigration, we have a country full of a variety of cultures that are effectively now a law unto themselves. And so
Sharia law. Well, we know there are Sharia law courts up and down the UK, and that's not being dealt with when it comes to Islam.
And I just think they're afraid. Donald Trump's come out and said, we're deporting everyone. The border's getting stopped. Our guys say we will tackle the boats. If they wanted to stop the boats, they'd stop the boats. The fact that they're going to continue to say that just shows how weak the leadership is. I saw a video on X yesterday, and you don't know how true this is or not, but I think within, an hour of Trump taking up his new position, there was a border patrol across the border. They had it locked down. I mean, it's an easy job to get done if you wanted to get it done. If it was a Russian boat that was coming and dropping people off, they'd soon stop it. So why can't they stop, a rubber dinghy for the fighting age males from Africa? That's what I don't get.
But first, something really important to talk about, actually. Scammers and spammers who are out there to ruin your life. Now, I know if you're like me, you will have got more and more of those annoying spam emails, text messages, and robo phone calls. Not only are they time-consuming to deal with, they usually represent a gross invasion of your private information that can cause vast and financial damage. How the heck did they get your information in the first place, by the way? That's what I always used to think, but I've found out now it's likely as a result of data brokers who know everything about you, your health information, relationship status, mortgage details, and so much more. Then they sell it for a profit. These data brokers can directly or indirectly expose sensitive information to bad actors, putting you at risk of identity theft. And the number of data breaches worldwide rises every year. According to the annual data breach report by the Identity Theft Research Center, it went up by 72% in 2023. This means you and your loved ones are also at a constantly increasing risk of data breaches, as a growing list of data brokers hold your personal information, which is then sold or published online without you even knowing about it. Let me tell you, the consequence of that can be shocking. Health insurance companies could actually raise your rates based on your online activity. Huge loans have been taken out under people's names without them even knowing about it. And this is terrifying. Scammers have even started using AI to mimic the voices of your friends and family members to trick you into sending them money. Now, these imposter scams rely entirely on the voice data they can find online. While you can ask these data brokers to delete your personal information, that process takes hundreds of hours to do manually, and it requires repetition. But the good news is that today I have a solution for you, one that I use and personally endorse. Go to incogni.com/outspoken and get 60% off an annual plan. Incogni reaches out to data brokers on your behalf, requests your personal data removal, and handles any objections from their side. And the whole process is automated, ensuring that your data stays off the market by conducting repeated removals and taking your data down if it pops up again. This is what makes our yearly subscription especially advantageous. I do the annual plan, so they're constantly taking me off these lists. It is such a simple process. Simply create an account, grant Incogni the right to work for you, and they will contact the data brokers on your behalf to request your personal data removal. So go to incogni.com/outspoken and get 60% off an annual plan right now. It could be the most important decision you make. But now, back to the show. And Trump kept using the word invasion yesterday. I have been using the word invasion when it comes to what's been going on to our country for 5 years. So is that all of this together, is that what led you to reform and Nigel Farage? Because what's interesting, you're 34, 5. Yes, you're a father, but you're still a young man. Yes, you're a successful businessman, but you're still a young man. And there's something about Reform UK and Nigel Farage that is in particular attracting patriotic young British men. So what was it that really was the thing that made you think, okay, I'm going to, as I said earlier, come out of the closet in a political sense and say, no, I don't give a damn what you think of me. I don't give a damn if I'm ostracized by my old friends in show business. I'm backing Nigel Farage to be Prime Minister.
Yeah, there's a couple of things really. I've been watching over the last few years all of these boats arriving, and it's clear when you see the videos and the pictures that these are young men. And there's that terminology, fighting age male. There's no women, there's no children. Why would we be filling up hotels and apartment blocks across the UK with, mini teams of these men? And I heard some conspiracy theories around what this was all about. But the more it's continued to happen, in every town and city across the UK, we now have mini barracks, effectively, these hotels full of fighting age males of, a particular nationality in the majority. And you just wonder what the plan is. Why are they all being sent across the UK, spread out? And I've kind of left it alone a little bit, haven't thought too much of it. And then recently, back in November, when Elon Musk, well, it's funny because Nigel Farage actually came last October 2023 to speak at an event I did in London. And he was talking about what was going to happen in the next general election, that he wanted to sock it to the Conservatives and that Reform was going to take their vote. And so Labour was going to win. And then his plan, after Labour had won, was to become the Prime Minister. Kind of, in a nutshell, that's what he was saying. And I liked it. He had a plan. He was strategic. I kind of got what he was about and his approach. And I just think generally he understands business and politics, and he's one of the smartest politicians I know. So kind of liked it from back then. Then in November, Elon Musk comes out backing Trump, and Trump appoints him as the head of the Dodge, Department of Government Efficiency. And straight away, he's posting on X, I'm going to call out where the government spending is. I'm going to cut all the costs. I'm going to make the US solvent again because it's currently insolvent and it keeps going into debt. And I was like, this makes perfect sense. Why are entrepreneurs not in government? Why is it just left to politicians? Because entrepreneurs are natural born problem solvers. I go to work every day in my companies to solve problems. I'm an entrepreneur, and there's no bigger problems in the UK than the country's problems, right? So as an entrepreneur, that's quite an exciting challenge. How do we overcome all the issues that this country faces? So there's that. I see it as an inspiring challenge, and I can actually add value. I am frustrated with what's happening and hearing the same old problems and politicians not being able to get the job done. And I look at the state of the country and the mindset of the country, and it's not going in the right direction. And if things don't change, and people that can come out and walk the talk and put their money where their mouth is and actually get stuff done, then this country is going to be in a terrible state. I think it's about 10,000 millionaires have left the UK in the last 12 to 24 months. All the wealthy are disappearing. Everybody's jumping ship. If everybody jumps ship, there'll be no one left to take care of the country. And I could jump ship and I could leave, but I have a family and I have my son here, so that he's got to grow up here for now. So I want to make sure that he's growing up in a country that's safe, that's abundant, that celebrates success. And that's a great country, and the UK is a phenomenal country, but it just needs the right people that can solve problems, that can get in and get the job done.
Big time. Really agree with that. Ant Middleton, another reality TV star, has also come out in support of Reform UK. Strong suggestions he's going to be the party's candidate to take on Sadiq Khan in the London mayoralty. Would you put your money where your mouth is and run for Reform UK, presumably for Parliament?
No, I don't want to be a politician.
I actually like that answer. I like that answer because I'm the same. I'm the same. I have absolutely no desire to enter politics. I think I can make change from the media sphere. So I like that you've got into this without actually doing it for personal ambition.
Yeah, definitely don't want to be a politician. Don't want to be an MP, and I want to support the politicians to do their job. The right ones do a phenomenal job, and I think got entrepreneurs in government to support and help influence to create solutions. But I don't want to be a politician. I think Ant will be a great appointment. True British hero, and he's a great guy. I've met him. He spoke at one of my events, and he cares a lot about the country. A true patriot. So I'm sure he'll go in there and do a great job. And Sadiq Khan, I just think, has destroyed London, and I can't stand the guy, to be honest. So anybody is better than him.
Me too. He has literally destroyed the greatest city in the world. He really has. Thank you so much for watching Dan Wootton Outspoken. Please click on my face just to the bottom left to subscribe to this brand new independent news source and turn on the notification bell so you'll be alerted to our brand new live shows, uncancelled interviews, and special royal episodes. Outspoken is also now available as a podcast, so you can listen to the show every weekday on the go, wherever you are.